My name is Christian Valentin. I am a soil and water scientist. I've been working for a very long time in tropical countries because I belong to the French Research Institute for Development, and I give many lectures in Paris, in Sorbonne University, but also in other countries like Vietnam, for instance. Well, when you look at the water on Earth, you have to keep in mind that only 3% are fresh water. All of the other is saline water and the seawater. And among the 3%, you have 2/3 which is ice water in the poles and in the glaciers. So you see you have no much left, and among this left you have 2/3 which is groundwater. So there is only 0.3% of the fresh water which is surface water that you can see in the form of river or lake or so on. But it's a very, very minute part of resource, water resource. Maybe this is counterintuitive, but the largest user of water is the agricultural sector. By far, it's about 2/3 using water. Rain-fed agriculture, but also, of course, for irrigated agriculture. Then comes the industrial sector, and then the domestic sector. But what should be said also is the main losses are found in the domestic sectors. There is not so much losses in the agriculture sector. There is about 30% of losses in the industrial sectors, but in municipality, it's a disaster. Even in Europe, the percentage of losses are of the order of 70 to 80%. Why? Because it's very expensive to maintain your distribution network, and the suppliers have no much interest in that, because this doesn't increase the cost of the water they sell, because it's not apparent. And they can also consider that, yes, of course, it's very expensive to treat water, but all this lost water actually is supplying the water table, so it's not a real loss. Of course, the first which comes in mind is scarcity. Of course, when you have not enough water for drinking water, for every domestic use, for industry, for agriculture, this is very, very prevailing in the dry region, and even in the semi-arid region like here in Barcelona. And of course, this promotes conflicts for water use. Among the 3 sectors that I just have presented, for instance, even a small town cannot think is water management without considering the use of the water table, of the groundwater, because these many sectors will tap in the main resource, especially in the water table, in the aquifer. Imagine that a city is surrounded by many farmers who are irrigating in summer. Of course, the water table will be depleted, and there must have some shortage of water. And so you have to consider the rural catchment of this water table. This is for water scarcity, so mainly some conflict of use. But of course there are many other threats due to excessive water, especially during the extreme events. And these events will be more and more numerous because of climate change. And even now we can experience this change nearly everywhere in the world, where you have more intense rainfall And this is translated in a peak of discharge in the rivers and some high risk of flooding. In addition to this risk of flooding, you have also to the damage associated with this flooding, including the silting with sediments, but also bank erosion. You can have also gully erosion, which can cause a lot of damages of the structures in your cities, even in the bridges. You can have very severe, also just regular erosion, I would say, promoting also high runoff. And of course, you can also have some trouble associated with damage with coastal erosion when you are in the coast. This is due to sea level rise, but also you can have another process which is not very much well known by many people, is that many cities in the coastal zones are sinking. Why are they sinking? Because there is an excess of pumping in the aquifer. This aquifer lacks a sponge, and of course the volume is reduced when you pump too much. So many cities in the world are sinking, and at a rate which is about 10 times the rate of sea level rise. So this, of course, favor also flooding, but also favor salinization of the water table.